I'm showing this technique, and it's just in case you were going to do kind of an organic look of your earring, and you cut your shape into kind of an organic shape. You can melt the edges with the heat gun, and then after you melt the edges with your heat gun, you also want to take this is just an emery board that I use, and smooth down the edges just to finish off the earring piece. And this is an alternative. You don't have to necessarily do this, but I don't know, I just think it gives an interesting look to your earring piece when it's more organic. It's not perfectly shaped. They look old. They look like they were hand done or hand metal, done done a long time ago. So I like the ancientness of something, but this is something that you don't necessarily have to do with your earring. It's just an alternative part of the technique. So I thought I'd show it to you, even though I did not list it as something that you have to get as far as your materials. But if you do decide to do this, all you really need to do, need to have extra, is your emery board. And I use all the sides to kind of smooth out the edges. Of course, after you get this done, you're going to have to paint the edges again. You'll find also that when you melt the styrofoam, it's going to get a lot harder and stone-like. And I guess that's really why I like to melt the styrofoam, is because it really changes the effect of the styrofoam, makes it more like, almost like, it looks like stone now. If you can see, this is the earring piece. It's not perfect, and in fact that's what I like about it, is the imperfection of it. Something that would be done a long time ago, the very, very ancient pieces that you find are that were done by hand aren't perfect. They're just very, very simple, and I guess that's what I like about it. So anyway, if that's what you want to do, use your emery board to kind of just kind of smooth down the edges a little bit. And now, rather than using a punch, you're actually going to use an awl to put the holes in the tops of the earrings. So that's all you do, rather than using a punch. And you're going to put the jump ring right through the top where the hole is. So you're not going to have a really big hole for the top part of your earring. You're just going to have a small hole. So you can actually take your awl and make a little bit of a bigger hole, but you don't want it to be real big. Because what I'm going to be doing is putting some wire in here first before I put the jump ring in. So the hole is going to be plenty big. Okay. So the next thing you're going to do after that is, where the styrofoam is showing, you're actually going to take some black paint and paint the edges. And so use a relatively small brush, a stiff brush again, and just paint your edges. Now you're not going to leave this black. You're actually going to be putting metallic paint over it too. But it just covers up the styrofoam part, the white part of the styrofoam, so that, when you put your metallic paint over it, it's going to look more like the stone that you want. Now sometimes I add other colors with my metallic paint, so I might actually add a little bit of blue or a little bit of green, or sometimes even some purple, depending on what kind of effect I want. So you can experiment with this. One of the things that I think is important when you do something like this, no matter what it is really, is to really be open to your own exploration, your own creativity. So you can actually kind of experiment with your color combination and see what you come up with. Now, of course, if you don't want this to be an aged-looking earring, then of course you can just leave it geometric and not necessarily do a lot of the melting or the altering of the styrofoam as much as I did. Again, I'm hoping that you actually come up with something on your own as you work with this technique. I like to treat the styrofoam almost as though it were an art material. In fact, it is it is art material. So, but what you're doing is you are transforming the art material, transforming the styrofoam into something that's going to look like something else. So when you're done, it should have the look of stone or metal, or maybe even a combination of the two. All right, there we go. Okay, so that's the next part of the technique, and this is what they look like. Okay, there you go. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is I've decided not to use the beaded wire on these earrings because I think they're too, I just like the way they are. I like the way it is now. So I'm going to do the beaded wire just in case you want to do that as on your earrings, but I'm probably not going to do that on these earrings. Okay? So I will show you the beaded wire and how to do that next.